I'm Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my podcast where I chat about knitting, crochet, sewing and books that I've been reading. It's been a couple of weeks since the last podcast, so I've been able to keep up with filming a little bit more frequently and I've really been enjoying it. And strangely enough, I've got lots to share with you today. So first of all, welcome if you're new. Hope you enjoy what I chat about, and welcome back for those that keep coming back for more. Thank you for all your lovely, kind and positive comments. Really appreciate that. And any Ko-fi donations, that's always a surprise and a really sweet thing to do, so thank you so much. So today what I'm wearing is my Sagebrush top by Friday Pattern Company and my Sunday Funday cardigan. This has probably got to be one of my favourite handmade crochet garments. I was saying last week, lots of things I don't normally have a very good fit on, and this is one of the ones that I absolutely love. It is it's not meant to come all the way. I would like it if it was a bit more like this, but it fits lovely, and I really love this very big cuff that I did on purpose with my favourite front and back post trebles. And my cowl, because it's still a bit chilly and I do feel a little bit naked without anything around my neck. This is the Spring is in the Air cowl by Lindsay Tranter from Stitch Create Knit. I test knit this pattern. It is really lovely, and I've used Nora George yarns from an advent calendar from a few years ago. I must make another one of these because this is what I want from a cowl, to be, sort of volume or lots of fabric around your neck to keep you cosy, but not baggy and loose around, so you can bring it up if you want to be cosy. It's lovely, and it's a fingering weight. I'm just looking back to what the needle size, so I used a 3.25mm needle. Isn't it lovely? They almost look like hearts. It's a lovely pattern. I'm definitely going to make another. So that's everything I'm wearing, plus my cup of tea. Right, so since I saw you last time, I've been to several events. I went to a crochet afternoon tea hosted by Helen from Woolly Chic, and we had a lovely time. Me and my sister went and did some crochet, had a beautiful afternoon tea, but also Helen provided everyone with a gift, and I just thought I would share. Check out Woolly Chic. She's got a fantastic website, and if you're local in Hertfordshire, she runs lots of lovely courses and these beautiful afternoon tea type things where you craft as well. So in the bag was a really sweet pattern, a Easter bunny and a lovely sheep, and they're called cozies. So Easter bunny egg cozy and the little sheep egg cozy, and it came with a cream egg. Isn't that sweet? And it was supplied, all the bits of yarn were supplied for the bunnies, little pom-pom, and for the sheep. So really sweet. So check out Helen's website for that. Those sweet little patterns. And also she sells yarn, and I saw this yarn in a gauge swatch, and it was just so beautiful. I've mentioned Helen's yarn before. This is Heart Spun. This is Helen's Woolly Chic. So this is her Heart Spun 4-ply. It's Blueface Leicester and Tencel. And she is calling this colourway Refreshers, like the old sweets. And in the gauge swatch, it was a really beautiful sprinkling of these pastel colours on this natural base. and it just was very spring-like, but also since wearing this, I just thought, oh, wouldn't that be lovely as a lovely lightweight cowl or shawl in these spring colours. Isn't it lovely? So yeah, I've tested things for Helen and made things with her yarn, and this heart spun is truly beautiful. It's so soft, and a real sort of eco-friendly element to it as well. Yeah, I can't stop looking at it. It's so pretty, isn't it, with those pastel sprinkles? So yeah, that's in my plans for my near future, hopefully. I also went to the Stitch Festival, and that was at the business centre in Islington with my sister again. And again, we had a lovely time looking at fabric and yarn, but mainly for the fabric. That's what we went for. It was, yeah, a really lovely day. We also went to Loop, the yarn shop across the road, and that was lovely too. But one thing that we were drawn to, we were on this stall, and it's called Purple Stitches, and they had these project bags. I wonder if I can put that to you there. So it's a project bag with a zip, but also this is a frame. So I've got these little frames. So when you open it up, it sort of, you know, pops open. It reminds me of a really old-fashioned like wash bag that my nan might have had. And for this, it's a free download, but you had to just buy 2 bits of fabric, and these are 1/2 meters, not fat quarters. So one for the outside, one for the inside. I don't know which way round I want to do it. Plus a zip, which can be cut to size. I thought that purple looked really nice with that. So possibly that might be my inside. So me and my sister are going to do that. We're going to just download this free pattern and make a little bag together. But that was such a sweet little, yeah, and it's so nice to just make something different and in such a, yeah, and it was like a real pick and mix, you know, lots of different fabrics, loads and loads of different pieces of fabric and loads of different colour zips, so we really personalise it. So yeah, we're going to have a little sewing day in the near future where we'll download that pattern and make a sweet little project bag. Okay, so let's get on to what I've been making. Recently I have started to subscribe to a sewing magazine, and it's mainly because I was attracted to this dress. So in the advert it was, you know, this is the next subscription, or no, the next, what's the word? The next magazine that was due out, this was going to be one of the free patterns. And this is really the kind of style dress I like to wear all the time. A bodice, a gathered skirt. So yeah, I've subscribed to that. Is it Simply Sewing? Yeah, Simply Sewing magazine, and you get a free, several sometimes free sewing patterns each time. So I thought I'm going to give this a go because I do tend to use the same pattern for my dresses, and I sort of mix and match. And I thought I need to try a different one. So I cut out my fabric. And I followed the size guide, you know, with the finished garment measurements. So my finished garment measurements matched to size 16. But when I made it, it was so too big for me, which is, yeah, I was like, oh, that's unusual when I'm following the finished garment measurements. Anyway, I'll show you. I've taken it apart since then, but I just wanted to show you the fabric. So it's a black cotton with this sort of like purpley cotton thread in it. And I did think, as I was making it, I was thinking, this feels, you know, too big. The bust darts are probably in the wrong place as well. So I had actually attached it to the gathered skirt, and it was just all, yeah, far too big. and I'd overlocked parts of it as well. So I made the rash decision of chopping off the bodice, because the bodice was far too long as well. And I also just chopped off, there was about that much. I just decided to chop that off each side. I know it's not a traditional way of doing it. I should have unpicked it all, but this was all overlocked, and I just thought, oh, I'm just gonna go for it. So fingers crossed, next time I'll try and show you. Hopefully it'll be a finished garment. I might even take the bust darts out and just keep it as a non-bust darted one, because they're just wrong for me. I know our bust is all different shapes and sizes, but the bust darts here, they sort of go uphill, and it's almost like you want them to go to your full bust. Yeah, so anyway, I love the fabric though. Really nice, really lightweight cotton as well, so this would be nice in the summer, or with tights in the winter. I do wear all my dresses all year round. I'll just find that fabric I got was ages ago. Yeah, let me find it, because it was really cheap. Here it is. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe it. So it's Swiss dot cotton poplin black and burgundy, and I've got 3 meters. And I've put here £12 or £16, which, what's that? 3, 6, 9, 12. No, 4, 8, 12. £4. I don't know why I've put 2 prices, but it was 3 meters for less than £20, which is amazing. And it's lovely fabric, lovely to sew with. And I got that from Fabworks. And a lot of their fabrics I've got from them have been really reasonably priced. So, yeah. So hopefully I'll show you that next time when I've finished that garment. I've also finished the Granny Go Round sweater. I showed you this last time where I'd just split for the sleeves, and I was thinking this is a bit too big. So what I did do was I reduced it a little bit. You can sort of see where it's puckering a bit, just to bring it in a bit at the back. I made it sort of fairly, not cropped, but sort of on my waist. A nice big waistband, again with my favourite front and back post. Oh, look at the colours, you can really see that. And I made it short sleeved with that rib, and the rib around the neck as well. It's a lovely make. I can really recommend it. I wonder if I should show you it on. I'll take this off. And I decided as well, next time I'll definitely go down a size. I think I made the extra large. I was saying last time, I do tend to make things that are too big. It was on a 5.5mm hook. I'll just show you what the yarn is. It's King Cole Tweed in the colour Licorice. It's only £3 a ball, and I didn't even use 4 balls, so not even £12. Excuse my cowl, but I have worn this once. I wore it actually before I washed it, and it probably does feel, it's fine with me sitting down, but I think it is probably a bit big. Could just be a bit smaller, a bit more snugger here, and then I wouldn't need to decrease it in, and it could be a bit more boxy. In fact, if I pick my trousers up, you can see where it sits, just beyond my waist of my trousers. But you can see there it's sort of puckering a bit where I decreased it. But I'm happy with it. And I wouldn't wear it like this. I would wear it over a jersey long sleeved top. But it's really lovely. Yeah, so I wore it before I washed it, and now I've washed it, and it's sort of brought it in a bit, but I imagine it would just get a bit baggier over time. So yeah, I definitely think I'd make a smaller one, only one size smaller. It's nice, isn't it? I'm pleased. It's such a lovely shape, that kind of like raglan type shaping. It's a really easy make. Anyone that's nervous about crochet garment making, and in fact my Sunday Funday is by Yarnmugs as well, so she's a great crochet designer, and probably that's what I need to do, make a few more crochet garments, because I always seem to be quite successful with those. But it's, yeah, really lovely. I've made myself a little loop so I know which is the back and which is the front. But yeah, that's going to be lovely with jeans or over the black dress that I showed last time. But yeah, really lovely. And you can see there, it's lovely and airy, but it was nice and warm also. It is DK yarn, isn't it, I said? Yeah, it is DK. I'm going to put this back on because it is a bit chilly. But I absolutely, yeah, I love this cardigan. I always feel very cosy in it. Yeah, so that's my granny go round. I don't know if I need to give you any more details. I think I chatted about it last time. It was a 5.5mm hook. So yeah, I think I'd use the same hook but make a smaller size for next time. I then, I've shown you this a couple of podcasts ago. Again, Helen from Woolly Chic asked me to test her new pattern called the Tada crochet top. And I was in the process of making all the granny squares and I've nearly finished. I've got one more to do. So I've joined them all together. This would be the front. Yeah, so if you can see it there, 3 higher ones are up the front. And then this goes round to join at the back. It's 3 combinations of the granny squares. But what I realised after a while is that I'd made a few mistakes. You can see on the final round, it's just plain trebles, but sometimes I've carried on with a granny. But in fact, it doesn't matter at all, does it? It sort of just adds to the, there's a granny one up there, adds to the mix. Now, I already know this is not going to fit. But I'm doing it as a test. It's just a test to test the size and the, the gauge, and so I can give Helen that information. But this is not going to fit around me, which is fine. But it can, it's, an experiment, and it's just working with the pattern. You can see there, that's how those would join. I've literally got 1 square left to make. So that feels a real achievement, because I think for a little while ago it was feeling a bit of a slog because all the ends are sewn in, so it's all complete. And now I just need to learn and watch Helen's videos regarding corner to corner. There's some corner to corner shapes as well as doing the sleeves, and there's a bit of a rib there. But yeah, I feel pleased that I've done that big chunk of making, and hopefully the rest will be pretty straightforward. Yarn is nice as well. It's this Katia fair trade cotton. Yeah, and it feels nice and drapey, so I'm glad I kept trying to work out, because I couldn't get the gauge for a while. I've had to go up lots of hook sizes, and again this is on a 5.5mm hook size. So yeah, thank you Helen for letting me test your pattern. Okay. Oh, look, I don't know if I showed this last time. This is from the Waltham Abbey Wall show this year. It's a cute little tote bag. And then this week I've had another week off trying to use all my annual leave up before the end of March. And I've had a really productive week making lots of different things. And I was saying last time I hadn't really done much sewing, so I got the sewing machine out and decided to make, before that black dress, I had a bit more of a successful make, and I made a dress for my friend. And I'd made this dress before, so I knew it was going to be successful. And I also made some adjustments. So I'd written down some notes about how I wanted to adjust it for her for this second time. So I'm really, really pleased with it. And I'm going to send this to her in the post. So this is, I've used this pattern quite a few times. It's the Lotta Bodice. So you can see it's grown on sleeves, like a t-shirt style bodice with a gathered skirt, which I tend to use the Hinterland gathered skirt, and then I've put pockets in as well. And when we were at the Stitch Festival, I bought this beautiful bias binding Stitched with Love. It looks like I've done it wrong, but this is just the needle and thread. This is exactly how that comes, and it's all the way round. It's a really lovely touch, isn't it? I do love bias binding rather than facings, but I'm really, really happy with the dress. From my friend's last measurements, I knew that I wanted to make the bodice shorter, and I also wanted the bodice to come in. I graded it in a lower size at the waist, but made sure that the length from the shoulder to the bottom was the same, so I knew how long to make it. And this is in a beautiful, now what is that fabric? Just get it close, isn't it lovely? It's viscose. I think it's just called blue, yeah, navy floral viscose. I got 2.5 meters for £22, and I haven't used it all. So yeah, if you saw this in a shop for £22, you'd buy it, wouldn't you? But isn't it lovely? At the time when I made her dress, I made her a previous dress and we bought the fabric together. She chose her fabric and I chose this. But she looks lovely in this sort of turquoisey, tealy colour. So I'm hoping that she'll like it. So yeah, that was a real success. So yeah, I just need to wrap that up and send it to her in the post. Oh, I'm so pleased with that. And that's why it was so disappointing. The trouble is, you know, you get used to either following a particular pattern that works. I just wanted to do something a bit different, and it's really annoying then when it doesn't work out, when it's not successful. But you've got to try these things, haven't you? You've got to try different, even though that pattern is very similar to all the other dresses that I wear, a bodice and a gathered skirt. And then I was watching Ali, Little Drops of Wonderful Ali, and she was talking about her dodgy bag make-along, which she hosts every year. And weirdly, I'd had a bit of a tidy up. Maybe it was when I had my last week off, and I'd gone through my fabric, all the old dresses I'd made, and I cut out pieces of fabric all ready to make bags. So I thought, while I've got my sewing machine out, I'm going to do that. Now, Ali has got a few tutorials on YouTube with how to make a dodgy bag, a drawstring and a zip. So I've made the drawstring before, so I followed that tutorial, but I did something wrong, and I'm not very happy with it, but I'll just show you. Let me just have a drink. So this is the box bottom. Yeah, it's a box bottom. I've got a dress in this fabric and a dress in that fabric, but I think I must have just roughly done my measuring, and this bit of fabric was too big, so I've had to sort of pull it in and gather it. So I'm not very happy with that, and I had to unpick it a few times. I couldn't work it out how to make sure that the drawstring casing was free. I think I made them too long, so this one is a bit of a dodgy bag. It's I've lined it with the same as the outer, but apart from this annoying bit, you know, once you've drawn it in, it will be like that, so it'll be fine. It's very lightweight. There's no interfacing or wadding at all, but I just wanted to have another go. And I still just need to get some drawstrings as well. I might pop to Hobbycraft later and pick some of those up. So that was the first one. Then I just thought I'm just going to search, because I kept getting this wrong and I didn't realise that I'd cut the fabric too long. That's why I wasn't keeping these little edges free. So I just, again, went on YouTube, just looked up drawstring bag and found this lovely YouTube channel with lots of sewing tips on there, and followed her tutorial for a drawstring bag, but not a box bottom one, just a plain bag. Oh, and I'm so pleased with them. Now in the, what's the word? This is not about being perfect. That's what the dodgy bag mail is all about. It's just about getting your machine out and using up your fabrics. But I'm so pleased with this. So again, I made a dress for my sister in this lovely fabric, and I've got a dress in this gingham. And inside, it's all of that. Isn't that lovely? But look at it, was just the instructions were so good. I know it is just a square bag, but it's lined and it just feels really neat and professional. And it was just a different way of doing it. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I just need to get drawstrings for that. Sorry, is that Checky making your eyes go funny? I think the best bit about this is this beautiful fabric though. I love that. So, and it's a really long, deep bag. So again, when that's all drawn in, you'll definitely fit a jumper in there. I'm so pleased with that. To me, it felt professional. And then I made another one. And again, I made a dress in this fabric and this khaki fabric. And the inside is the same, it's that floral. So I thought that's really pretty. They're all different lengths because it's just depending on what fabric I had. They're almost the same, those two, but this is a bit smaller. But this is beautiful fabric. In fact, I made a dress, but I don't like the dress, so it was just nice to use the fabric. So I love that fabric, but to use it for something useful. And I matched it with this really sweet kind of tealy colour thread. I didn't do any... I have done top stitching, but you just can't really see it on the floral. And then the last one, this is a smaller bag, again with leftover dress fabric. And the inner was the same, I did the blue checky. But lovely just with the contrast of the floral. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with these. It's definitely a tutorial I'd follow again, but also I'd like to look at some of her other tutorials because she's got a few like tote bags and bucket type project things. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased. So 3 really good ones, 1 dodgy one. Yeah, have you made bags? Don't be put off. I'll link below the tutorial for Ali's and for this new podcast, new YouTuber I've come across. I've started following her on Instagram as well. I can't remember. Let me write down. Did I say what she was? There's my little book. Yeah, she's called Sotak. So S-O-T-A-K. Sotak Handmade on Instagram and YouTube. And the other thing I wrote down here after is I wish I'd added a label. You know how all the lovely project bag makers out there, you know, and I've got labels. I should have done that before I joined it all together. So next time. But it just felt so nice using up big chunks of fabric that were just lying in a box. Couldn't have made another garment out of it, but to make a bag. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with them. Apart from the dodgy one. It's so terrible, isn't it? We're our own worst critics, but it's just really annoying with this extra fold of fabric where I'd done it too. It'd be fine if that was on the inside, but because it's on the outside. Yeah, and if I turned it inside out, then I would lose the... Yeah, and then you've got this kind of the little seam that you sew up your inner hole. Anyway, doesn't matter, that's the point. Just try and make something. And like you say, when the drawstring is in it, it'll be a very usable bag. Yeah, really, really happy. Okay, how are we doing? Oh, nearly half hour. So the last thing to chat about is the book that I've recently been reading. Can you hear that rain? It's pouring. I don't think it stopped. It stopped raining all night, all day. Everything looks really green, but yeah, it's just really wet. Okay, so I've recently finished this one. This is such a beautiful book. It lived up to the recommendations of friends and things that I'd read about it. It's just so lovely. And this is going to be a film, and I had put the link on the previous podcast. I'm just going to sneeze, hold on. Oh, bless me. Sorry. And it's going to be a film, and yeah, it's very touching, it's emotional, but heartwarming as well. And there's a trilogy, so this book is about Harold, and there's another book about two of the other characters. One's called Queenie, one's called Maureen. And I've since bought some of her... No, I haven't. I would like to read some of her other books, but I've looked in several bookshops and some charity shops, and I couldn't find any. So unless it's just really, really popular at the moment, so there's her other books. But I can highly recommend this one. It's just beautiful. Makes you think about marriage and about parenting and even retirement. Like it's really it's beautiful. I bought this for my mum for Christmas, and then she's passed it on to me, and she loved it too. So yeah, I can't wait to go and watch the film. But it is emotional. So yeah, highly recommend. And I've just started a few days ago. I showed you previously my book club book that I've joined, and it's called A Terrible Kindness, and that's the one about the true event of the landslide in Aberfan, where a school was covered by this landslide. So it's again quite an emotional. It is emotional so far, but interesting too. So yeah, I think that's it. I've talked about lots of different, no knitting today. It's all been about crochet and sewing. So I hope you're all okay, and hopefully I'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks. Okay, see you later. Bye.